Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Same awesome Naya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. So I came across this video, and it's a young black man who actually came out to say that if you ask Democrats why they are voting for Kamala Harris, that they are absolutely going to drag Trump into it. He asked a question like, "Why are you all voting Kamala Harris?" And somebody actually did answer the question. And there's something that I have noticed so much. Like I keep saying this, sometimes I will okay, no, not sometimes. I keep telling us that I do not have problem with anybody who people are voting for, right? Because it is your civil rights to exercise, to vote for, to choose and select your president and all that. But something that you all go around doing, especially some black men, that it's very uncool, is when you do it, you stand like you know what you are doing and what you are saying. Now, let me tell us this, some black men, I hope you all know that your own life is also at stake, not just only that. You have younger ones, their lives are also at stake. And I hope that we are able to make great decisions for our community because some people are very much interested only for themselves. And I see them as selfish people. I keep talking about unity in black community, but are we really ready to do that? Are we really ready to unite and form a force? You know what? Let's get into this video.
So if you want to break a Democrat's brain, just ask them 3 questions.
Yikes. Okay, starting out your argument in bad faith, I see, but go on.
First question, ask them why they're voting for Kamala Harris without mentioning Trump.
Okay, I don't understand this. I hear this all the time from people on the right. Why are you voting for Kamala without mentioning Donald Trump? It's a presidential election between two people, and you're asking me to choose one. And how humans make decisions, we weigh the good in one option against the bad in the other option, and then that leads to a choice. So to completely negate and to disqualify the choice based on the negatives of one of the options you're asking me to choose from makes no sense at all. But for the sake of your video, I will answer. Kamala Harris is smart, Kamala Harris is qualified, and she has the temperament that I like to see in presidential candidates.
2, ask them to name 3 policies that Kamala Harris has articulated that make economic sense, that they get behind.
Okay, the premise of this question is disingenuous as well, because what makes economic sense to me may not make economic sense to somebody else. That's assuming that we all have the same level of understanding of economics. That's assuming that we all have the same level of needs when it comes to economic policy. We don't. But for the sake of your video, I will answer. Kamala Harris's $50,000 tax credit for entrepreneurs and small businesses. I think small businesses drive this economy, and so I think any help for people who want to start a small business is a good thing and will only bolster the economy. Her position on increasing the number of homes available to purchase, and then also the $25,000 down payment assistance for people who want to purchase their first home, I think is great. As someone who purchased his first home a couple of years ago, if I had $25,000 in down payment assistance, that would have been a huge benefit, and I probably could have purchased a home sooner. Most people can make the mortgage payments because we're already doing it in rent payments. The problem is the down payment, is the insurance, and the taxes. So if we can have help with 1 out of 3 of those, that's a big deal. And finally, she's in favor of raising the minimum wage. I think the more money people have in their pockets, that means they're more likely to spend that money and boost the economy in return.
3, ask them to explain those policies and how they can be implemented without crashing the economy or doubling the national debt.
Well, again, your question is disingenuous. I am not in the legislative branch of the federal government. I don't know what needs to happen in order to implement the plans that she wants to implement. That's what politicians are for. They tell us what they want to do. We send the representatives to Congress to negotiate to get as close to that as possible. So it doesn't mean that my brain is broken. It just means that I am not privy to the inner workings of the federal government. I don't think that giving people a $25,000 tax credit on the purchase of their first home would tank the entire economy of the United States of America, but I don't know.
And as a matter of fact, let's go for number 4. Ask them to explain why Donald Trump should not be president without offering an emotional perspective.
This is also a strange question because it assumes that these two things can't be true at the same time. I can have a visceral emotional response to why I think Donald Trump should not be president again, while also giving you examples of his policies that hurt the country. The tariffs he implemented hurt the average American household to the tune of $820 a year. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 hurt the economy overall and never delivered on the promise that it would pay for itself. It also added $8.4 trillion to the national debt. So, Tony, I hope I answered your questions to your liking. But in the future, if you're going to ask more questions on how to, quote unquote, break a Democrat's brain, I would suggest phrasing those questions not so disingenuously. It'll be better for everybody.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Sorry for the tired, raggedy look. I wasn't even gonna make a video today. Today was gonna be a chill day. I just went to get my car washed. That's it. I'm at the car wash waiting to pay for my car wash. A lady sees me wearing my Kamala Harris for the People shirt and says, "Why are you gonna vote for her?" And I said, "Are you sure you want to ask me that? Because I mean, I can tell you. I don't mind telling you. I just want to make sure you want to have this conversation." She says, "Yeah, because I'm undecided." That's what she said. So I go into details. I talk about policies. I talk about all these different things. And she keeps having this look on her face like she didn't believe what I was saying. I said, "So why would you support the other person?" She says, "Well, things were just better." And I was like, "Tell me how." And she couldn't tell me how. She said, "Well, they just were." I said, "Ma'am, tell me what things he did." And she couldn't. I said, "I got to be honest with you. If you're going to go cast a vote for somebody and you can't tell me what they did for you, that should be concerning to you." But I said, "Okay." I said, "Let's keep it simple. What about lying? Because the orange dude lies a lot." She said, "Well, what about her lies?" And I said, "Okay, is lying wrong?" Simple question. Is lying wrong, yes or no? She says, "Well, what about her lies?" I said, "Can you just say if lying is wrong?" That's sign number one, by the way. If you can't definitively say lying is wrong, that tells me you're a defender of the orange dude because you're okay with his lies. But then she said, "Well, the whole debate." I said, "Tell me the lie that she told in the debate." She said, "All of them." I said, "Tell me one." She couldn't tell me that. So I had to move on from that. I wanted to get out of there. I'm waiting to pick up my car. I see one lady saw what happened previously, and I just say to her, I said, "I ain't got a problem with who you vote for. I just wanted to be based off facts." A dude picks up his head from his phone, looks at my shirt and scoffs. He says, "Well, the facts coming from that side." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, look, she messed up everything." I said, "How did she mess up everything?" He says, "Well, she was the border czar." And I said, "That's not a real thing. You know that, right? That's not a real term." He's like, "Well, that's her title." I said, "That's not a real thing." He says, "Well, she was in charge of the border." I said, "If you're mad about the border, you should be mad about him shutting down the border deal." One, he didn't believe it. Every Republican that I brought up that admitted that he did close the border deal because he needed something to run on, he says, "You can't trust him." I said, "So you can't trust any Republican other than him?" He's like, "No." And I said, "Okay." But he also said he was undecided, by the way, which is weird. But this is the dumbest thing I ever heard a human being say when it comes to politics. Because I offered him, I said, "I tell you what, bro, I will pay for your car wash and I'll give you money for a future car wash if you can give me the name of one piece of legislation. Just give me one that he passed to make life better. Give me the name of one legislator, I'll pay for your car wash." This dude looked at me with the straightest face and said, "You don't need legislation." I said, "What?" He said, "You don't need legislation." I said, "You don't need legislation to run the country?" And normally I don't react like this, but I said, that's the goofiest shit I ever heard in my life. I turned and walked out. November, you guys. We can end this. God, we don't need legislation? I was just trying to chill today.
Kamala is mentally impaired. If a Republican did what she did,
The tropes just write themselves. See, here's the thing. Women, strong women, and especially black women, are used to being referred to as either bitches or crazy by weak-ass men. So that's not new. And you noticed how the crowd cheered him on when he said that? Yeah. See, that is why I will not be turning down my rhetoric against MAGA supporters no matter what happens on November the 5th. And the hypocrisy is just so rich that someone who suggested that we drop nuclear bombs in the path of hurricanes to stop them from hitting the United States is talking about somebody else's mental health. And let's not forget that that crowd sat there and applauded Donald Trump's comments. They in the audience who support a man who could do this to a woman with a spiritual and moral impairment, and they are all in for him. Let's not forget that.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Of course, there's nothing mentally unhinged about that statement or a few others that I thought I'd bring along.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country?
Yep, that was Trump suggesting that students are leaving home and returning back after they had transgender surgery during the school day. But there's more.
So you have millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps in Canada and all pouring down. And they have essentially a very large faucet. And you turn the faucet, and it takes one day to turn it. It's massive. It's as big as the wall of that building right there behind you. And you turn that, and all of that water goes aimlessly into the Pacific.
Yeah, and I won't be turning down my rhetoric against any MAGA supporter, as I said, because they are who they are. And who they are is a choice to be rooted in racism, bigotry, and Rocky Raccoonery. We see you.
So this is all I got from this video. And the truth is that there are so many people like, on the table that really do not understand why they are voting for the party that they are voting for. They have probably heard from people that do not vote for this person, vote for this person, or this person is good for me, this person is not good for me, without even knowing his or her policies, right? And also, I love the fact that when you interact with smart and intelligent people, right? I mean, you can feel their impact. I love the fact that he was able to, uh, discuss with the woman and further ask some questions. Why? Because some people really cannot defend their parties. I mean, why? How can they defend something that they know nothing about? You know, you can't give up what you do not have. And the truth is that some people are always very, very quick to keep asking people without bringing Trump or bringing Republican or Democrat. What do you think this person got to offer more than the other person, right? Now, let me say this. I do not understand why some people watched the debate that they did and still to this very moment, they are still lying about the debate. You know, there is no how, even a blind person during the debate could actually say that this person knew what she is up to, or the other person knew what he is up to, right? It's very glaring that I mean, somebody came ready. Somebody was like, "I've got my policy. I know what I want for these people, right?" And that is something that I am going to work towards. So people still beating around the bush or making it look like someone is trying to maybe defame them or trying to make it look like someone doesn't know what he is doing or what she is doing and all that. We already saw what is going on and we can see clearly who is for good and who is not for good. But I'll leave that for you all because my vote will never count. I am also not going to vote and all that. So I do not have much opinion when it comes to some certain things. So it is all you. And all you can do as a citizen is make sure you exercise your civil right because it is all your duty as a citizen to vote and be voted for, right? So make sure you do that and do it greatly so that in the end, you can also sit back and say that I did what any human being would have done, right? And I am just going to leave them to do their job, right? So really, I mean, it's really been very exhausting. It's really been very, very tiring talking about politics because some people already, it's really been very tiring talking about politics because, I mean, some people already have chosen their path they want to go. And I see all of them in the comment section saying that, what can Kamala Harris do for us? I mean, she is not going to do anything for us. And some are like, okay, we are voting for Donald Trump because they feel like he has something good for us. He's probably going to give us checks and all that. I do not have anything to say about that, right? I think I don't see all your comments. I see majority of your comments, and I can tell that I mean, we will never or we must not have the same political view, right? That I also understand. But I want you to know that whatever you are doing, especially when it comes to voting, right? I hope that what you are doing is going to favor you, right? And at the same time, favor your kids and your neighbors, like everybody around. Why I am saying this is that I do not like a regime that favors just a particular group of people. If a regime is able to reach out, I mean, like extend their arms around to everybody, I mean, that is what I call regime. Like, it means, like, at least you are seeing the effects of the regime you voted for, like 90 or 80-20. I mean, you can say that something is going great and all that. But peradventure, I am saying 20, sorry, I am saying, yeah, I am saying what? I don't even know what to say, but it will really be very bad. Very, very bad. And I hope that while we are getting ready to vote, that we are putting so many things in consideration. What I am saying in putting so many things in consideration is our community. Our community is very important that we must put our community first before any other person, you know? We should come first in anything. I see you as my brother, you see me as my sister. I mean, I cannot do anything to intentionally to hurt you. So all I am planning is how we can protect ourselves and how we can, like, live better or have a better life and all that. So while we are doing that, I hope we put ourselves, like, put the younger ones, put the youth all in consideration and not think only for me, because thinking for only for me, it is not right. And I hope in the end that what we've been fighting for, that we are able to get it. And for everybody out there that has been going, like, I see some people really coming out to say some distasteful things about one another, or like trying to bring the other person down. See, we probably might not have the same political view, right? It's okay. But there are some things we shouldn't be doing, especially at our age, We can do better, or looking for a way to drag Black people into something that does not concern them. Because I see a lot of people in our community, the only thing they look for a way to do is looking for a way to, like, drag everybody into that and then run away. I mean, it does not make any sense. And I keep saying this, we can always do better, because when we start doing better, you definitely will see the effects in everything we'll do. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.